On their way, the nomadic tribes of the Kurds that time, they harassed them actually, because they frequently attacked the Greek caravans and maybe the troops and the soldiers. That's why Xenophon in his maybe writings refer to a people, a nation living there that harassed there when they were going back home. Now, again, 100 AD, there's Kurdoni mentioned by Pliny, maybe formerly called Kardochi, he says. Again, there's reference to, as you see, reference always again near the Tigris River, that is between Turkey and Iraq. 645, the Arabs forcibly, this is what the writer says, by the way, Minorisky was an Orientalist, forcibly converted the Kurds who were before either Christians or the Russians to Islam. Then 1514 is a very important, a crucial point of history in the history of Kurdistan, because it was the defeat of, there was a battle between the Ottomans and the Persians got defeated that time, and that was exactly on the land of Kurdistan between Turkey and Iran. That was the first formal attempt to divide the land between two great empires, the Ottomans and the Persians. We will just skip some points that may not be important to 1992, when the regional government in the north of Iraq was established, because that's what we're talking about. 1992 exactly. The Kurds are an ethnic group who have historically inhabited the mountains, as we said, maybe in the south of Caucasus. Kurdistan is divided among 4 countries. I refer to that one: Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. By the way, there are Kurdish minorities in Armenia, in Azerbaijan, and in Georgia, in addition to the Kurdish diaspora living all over the world, about 1.3 to 1.5 million people. Okay? This is the map of the Kurdish inhabited today, because it's getting shrinked over and over again because of the political pressures on all sides and displacement and maybe seeking asylum outside the place. You know, that's something evident. So this area is what we're talking about, the Kurdish part of Iraq. And this is Iran, this is Turkey, this is Syria. As you see, maybe some parts are discarded here and there, maybe here, but we are not talking about those ones. What the focus is for this lecture is this red part, okay? Anyway, Kurdish language. The Kurdish language in the science of dialectology and language family, is actually part of the Indo-Iranian family. And the Indo-Iranian family is part of a larger one called Indo-European family. There is some sort of disagreement. Some say it's part of the Central Iranian language. Some say it's part of the Western Iranian language. Whether Central or Western, what's known as it's part of the Indo-Iranian language alongside Persian, Baluchi, and maybe some other minor languages. There's also disagreement over the question of Avestan language, because the Persians say the Avestan language was maybe the beginning of today's Persian, modern Persian, and on their part they could say no, the Avestan language was the ancient language of our ancestors. What I can see, and I have found, is that there's a minority living on the border. If I go back, they're living here, a minority here. They're called Hawrami, okay? They speak, I guess, because I have read some of the Ghats of the Zoras, or you call it in English Zoras, or Zora, we call it Zardash. I have had a look at some of his Ghats, and the language is close to their language. And because those communities are, or that community, the people are highly conservative. I can say they have preserved the language to a high degree, incomparable to any part of the world. Language change hasn't been as frequent as it happens usually to other languages, because they are living in geographically very hard, in mountainous, and just in conservative in the social aspect of life, and so on and so forth. That's why I can say that might go for them, or that might be closer to their language. The ancestors might be their ancestors, the Avestan, but we note about that. The population, how many Kurds or how many native speakers of Kurds, that's controversial again, because there is no objective, accurate data census, regarding the number of Kurds. The Kurds try to exaggerate the number. The countries where they are living try to make it as small as possible. So between this extreme and that one, there is no correct record. However, Wikipedia 2011 says between 28 to 35 million, this is excluding the diaspora. Gunter, in his book, The A to Z of the Kurds, says 25 to 28 million. Meho says 30. We are not about maybe the figures, and diaspora 1.5 million. Family, we talked about the family. Now, the dialect, 3 different opinions, or 2 actually different opinions of dialect, of the Kurdish dialects may be found. The Orientalists say, Mackenzie and the others, they argue that there are 3 groups of dialects, or three say, major dialects, within which that function like umbrella dialects or sub-dialects. They say there's a northern group where the Kurmanji is spoken, the central one where the Sorani is spoken where I come from, and the southern one were part of the Sorani dialect, and maybe other sub-dialects like Bajalani, Ardalani, Kirmanshahi. Actually, Kirmanshahi, that's what he says. Otherwise, Kirmanshahi is what we call Luri. Then Encyclopedia Britannica said there are 2 Kurmanji and Sorani, and maybe this scholar Gunter says there are 2 Kurmanji and Sorani. Macro says 3 main groups, again, northern, central, and southern. In brief, we can say 2 main ideas. One idea says there are 2 dialects, 2 groups of dialects. The other one says there are 3. Whether 2 or 3, there are dialects and sub-dialects. In brief, we can say, for simplicity, the southern one and the northern one. The northern one is where Kirmanji is spoken, and the southern one is where Sorani is spoken. Kurdish in Iraq. The Kurdish people live in the north of Iraq, close to the mountains. 2 dialects actually are spoken there. Sorani, the majority of the cities are Sorani dialect, and Kurmanji or Bahdini in the local language. Yeah, that's it. The written system is alphabet, the Arabic alphabet, unlike the Turkish part and unlike the Syrian part, where a modified Turkish or Latin alphabet is followed. There's an argument on why not following the Arabic alphabet. Most people today have this question in their head. Why should we follow the Latin alphabet? Why not preserving the Arabic one? The Arabs in general believe that it should be better for the Kurds to get stuck to the Arabic one, because they have been using it. Some scholars say they have been using it for some decades. So the cultural heritage is written in the Arabic alphabet. The Kurds, on their part, try to say we are different. We're ethnically, socially, historically, and maybe in terms of language, linguistically, we're different. So we want to have our own alphabet. We want to express to the best of our, ability. Anyway, there are both sides have some arguments and counter arguments. Political, maybe tensions may sometimes help making it worse or easier. Arabic is, in principle, as you know, Semitic language. The Arab script is an impure abjad. That's why I was saying that the Arabic script is an impure abjad, because in the alphabet, short consonants and long vowels are represented by letters, but short vowels are not generally indicated by writing. To give you an example here, if you write, for example, that's one. If you write, I'm just writing it in a simple form so that you understand. If you write kataba, this is a consonant, so you have C, C, C. 3 consonants, okay? And you don't know whether the vowel is here or not. But if I give it some diacritic markers like which is called fatha, the upper diacritic mark, then the short vowels like this one, ka, ta, ba. The 3 short vowels are expressed by the diacritic marks. not actually a part within the alphabet, originally a part within the alphabet. And remember, I told you originally there was no